What really ended Nina Dobrev and Shaun White's engagement? On the surface, they look like Hollywood's golden couple, the actress adored by millions, and the Olympic legend who had already conquered the world. But just months after celebrating their engagement, the fairy tale came crashing down. Reports claimed it was mutual, made with love and respect. Yet new details suggest there may have been one heartbreaking reason that tore them apart. And as fans dig through cryptic TikToks, subtle social media moves, and insider contradictions, the story is starting to sound a lot more complicated than anyone expected. Asterisk on September 11th. People confirmed what fans had only been whispering about. Nina Dobrev and Shaun White had officially split. The news landed like a shockwave, coming less than a year after the couple got engaged in what many believed was a perfect match. At first, the explanation seemed simple enough. A source close to the pair described the breakup as a mutual decision, one that was made with love, care, and deep respect for each other. It wasn't portrayed as messy, dramatic, or bitter, just two people parting ways. But as clean as that statement sounded, it left everyone asking the same question. If everything was so mutual and respectful, then why did it really end? Asterisk, not long after the official announcement, whispers started to spread, and they told a very different story. According to one insider, the split wasn't as mutual as it seemed. Nina, at 36, was ready to take the next big step: marriage, a family, and a more permanent future. But Shaun, 3 years older, reportedly wasn't on the same page. One source put it bluntly. There was one reason she wanted a family and wanted to get married, and he didn't. That line hit fans hard. For years, Nina and Shaun had been painted as a couple that balanced each other perfectly. She brought Hollywood glamour. He carried Olympic glory, and together they seemed unstoppable. Which is why this claim that their futures simply didn't align sounded devastating. And for Nina, insiders say the heartbreak was real. Behind the polished statements and smiling red carpet photos, she was described as devastated by how things ended. But just as the public began to settle on that explanation, another story surfaced, one that complicated everything. Asterisk, just when it seemed like the story had been explained, another insider came forward, and this version completely flipped the narrative. According to them, it wasn't true that Nina wanted marriage and family, while Shaun didn't. In fact, both of them did. Both had talked about marriage, both had dreamed of having children, and both were supposedly making plans to build a life together. This left fans scratching their heads. How could two different sources be so far apart on the same relationship? Was it a case of friends protecting Nina, while others were defending Shaun? Or was the truth somewhere in the middle, hidden behind carefully chosen words? The contradiction only fueled speculation online. Some believe Shaun was hesitant to fully commit, while others argued Nina might have pushed too quickly. But one thing was certain: the mutual story didn't quite match up with what people were hearing behind the scenes. And if the conflicting reports weren't enough, Nina herself dropped something that got fans talking even louder. Asterisk, while insiders were busy trading stories, Nina herself added fuel to the fire, not through an interview or a statement, but with a TikTok. Just days after the split was confirmed, she posted a video that sent fans into a frenzy. In it, she mouthed along to an audio clip that sounded more like relationship advice with a bite. The voice said, "Listen, Bob, the builder. He's got 10 other women trying to fix him, too. And you all look like a DMN construction crew." It was sharp, sassy, and impossible to ignore. Viewers immediately connected the dots, reading it as a subtle dig at Shaun. After all, what better way to send a message than through a viral TikTok? The comments section exploded. Fans wrote things like, "Makes sense now after the split news, and she's definitely talking about Shaun." For many, that single clip confirmed their suspicions. Nina wasn't just quietly moving on. She was sending signals, loud and clear. But while Nina's post lit up social media, Shaun stayed noticeably silent, at least, until he made a move of his own. Asterisk, while Nina's TikTok had fans dissecting every word, Shaun took a completely different approach. On September 15th, just 4 days after the breakup went public, he posted on Instagram for the first time since the news broke. But instead of addressing the split, Shaun shared something entirely unrelated. His first trip back to Beijing since the 2022 Winter Olympics, the place where he had officially retired from competitive snowboarding. The post seemed focused on nostalgia and his career milestones, not his personal life. But fans noticed something unusual. Shaun had limited the comments on the post. For many, that small detail spoke louder than the photo itself. It suggested he knew people would flood the comments with questions about Nina. He wasn't ready or willing to go there. It was the exact opposite of Nina's approach. While she hinted at her feelings through social media, Shaun's silence made fans wonder what he was really thinking. Was he protecting his privacy or avoiding the conversation altogether? Either way, the contrast between them only made the public more curious. And to understand just how shocking this split was, you have to look back at where it all began, their love story. Asterisk, to really understand why fans were stunned by the split. You have to look back at how Nina and Shaun's love story began. The two were first romantically linked in 2020, though later they admitted they'd actually started dating in late 2019. From the start, their relationship felt like an unexpected match. Hollywood actress meets Olympic snowboarding legend, but somehow, it worked. Over the next few years, they became one of those couples fans couldn't help but root for. From sharing goofy videos during lockdown to showing up hand-in-hand on red carpets, Nina and Shaun gave off the vibe of a pair who balanced fun with deep connection. And then, in October, Shaun made it official. He popped the question at a New York City restaurant, surprising Nina with a proposal that had their closest friends buzzing. According to one source at the time, their friends knew it was coming, and everyone was so happy for them. Afterward, Nina and Shaun were glowing, calling and texting friends with the kind of excitement you only get once in a lifetime. "It can't get better than this," they reportedly said. But if it all looked picture perfect on the outside, cracks were quietly forming beneath the surface. And in the days leading up to the split, there were subtle signs that fans only noticed in hindsight. Asterisk looking back. The signs were there, but they were easy to miss at the time. Just days before the breakup was announced, Nina appeared at the Toronto International Film Festival to support her friend Miles Teller at the premiere of his new movie, Eternity. She looked radiant on the red carpet, smiling for cameras and chatting with fans. But sharp-eyed followers noticed something missing. Her engagement ring. At first, people brushed it off. Maybe she'd left it at home. Maybe it didn't match the outfit. Or maybe it was nothing at all. But after the news of the split broke, that small detail suddenly seemed like a clue hiding in plain sight. It wasn't the only hint either. In the weeks before, Nina and Shaun hadn't been appearing together as often. Social media posts slowed down. Public outings grew less frequent. And while neither of them said a word, the absence of their once visible chemistry told its own story. By the time the breakup went public, fans realized the truth. The fairy tale had already started to fade, but with two completely different insider accounts. A cryptic TikTok and a carefully limited Instagram post. One question still hangs in the air. What really happened between Nina Dobrev and Shaun White? Asterisk in the end. The split between Nina Dobrev and Shaun White still feels like a puzzle with missing pieces. One insider insists it came down to marriage and children. Nina wanted to move forward, while Shaun wasn't ready. Another swears both of them wanted the same future and were already planning it together. And then there are the subtle clues. Nina's cryptic TikTok, Shaun's silent Instagram post, and the missing engagement ring that fans now see in a whole new light. What's clear is that the breakup wasn't as simple as the polished statement made it seem. Behind the smiles and the headlines, something shifted, and for now, only Nina and Shaun truly know what it was. The question is, was this really about different timelines for marriage and family? Or is there something else, something deeper that hasn't been revealed yet? Until they speak out, fans are left to speculate. And the mystery of Nina and Shaun's breakup will keep sparking questions.